Once again, hello and Allahu Akbar, the Baha'i greeting to all the people of the beautiful planet Earth. I consider all of you my brothers, my sisters, my children, my father, my mother. We're all one family, and this is the highest peak of understanding that I hope everyone gets there and act upon it. Well, as I promised yesterday, well, let's see. Today is 27th of June, time is 11:42. As I promised last night, we'll be getting into the last part of this second book. The way I've brought this program, it was from the video 1 to 20, it's basically the philosophy, the background. And from the video 21, which was the introduction to the practical religion, I explained that there are 7 stages, 7 processes, 7 transitions that we have to go through. And I mentioned from the instinctive desires that we have, which is primarily eating, sleeping, having sex, and reliving, we can get, if we've done this properly, we'll get good moods. If it is bad, we'll have bad moods. These moods, as gets us attracted to something, it becomes habits in us, bad or good. And these habits eventually becomes a part of our character. It becomes our ethical point of view. As some people are environmentalists, or some people are philanthropists, and so on and so forth. That would be the 4th one. And on the 5th stage, a person with a principle, good principle, or unfortunately bad principles, bad ethics, and it starts to act, which I call it the deed, the spiritual deed. And these deeds eventually takes us to the 6th stage, which we will become, or we get attributes, we gain attributes. As we give, become generous. And I said that once more than 50% of our character, our vessel of the soul, gets filled with these spiritual qualities, more than 50%, a last and final stage occurs, which I call it connection. Just like an internet. You're a computer, big or small, you have no subscription to the internet. This is a spiritual internet. Once you are more than 50% good, you have some sort of a connections to the to God in a way, which in reality means activation of another whole series of capacity that otherwise was unknown to us. A new self will be created by us, for us. We're activating it. I explained before, as a self, we have a selfhood of minerals. This body of ours has many, many minerals, substances. On their own, if they're not organized, if they're not directed, just like a dead body, in a matter of few hours decays. What keeps it together and makes it not to decay and last at least 70 to 80 years is a program that's installed on this material body which has organized it to be what it is. And that we call it, in the Baha'i faith, Abdul says that's the vegetable spirit. He uses the word, like a plant. Because like plant, we grow hair, we grow nails, our height comes up. Like plant, we absorb things and get rid of, so the body circulates endlessly. After this, the vegetable self, there's an animal self. All of us were animals. Why? Because this program that is installed on our body, on our soul, allows this vegetation, this vegetable power, to be able to see, to hear, to touch, to taste, to walk, to talk. And this is the animal spirits on us. But animal spirit cannot think. Thinking is not a part of it. There is thinking used to make animal spirits. You can see how beaver can make dam. Or sometimes animals do strange things that's absolutely so amazing to us. Because it's a program that's installed, and that is the limit of it. It cannot, Abdul says, it cannot pass the limitation of that installation on the body of the animal. But human, it's different. It doesn't have a certain program. He has to program himself. It's different a story about him because he can think. He can change the situation and reconstruct the nature of God into something else. Animals are kind of bound with it, but we change things around to suit us. We can't fly, but we fly. And as far as here, everyone knows what I'm talking about. But there's something else that I know of. That self, that particular one, is different. That is what I call it a subscription to the internet. It's a connection. That's a different self. That's a spiritual self that governs the body. Let's say animal can have sex, a male with any female of its kind. Human says no. It has to be certain type of people, certain beauty, certain things has to be known. It refines the need of animal into some specific one. But then the spiritual self may let go even of that for some higher causes, something way bigger. Something that is not possible to explain, my dear friend, to you. The only thing I can tell you is this. A child of 10 years old and 8 years old, if they ask you, what is sex? You would not be able to explain it, and even if you do, they would not be able to understand and comprehend it. Impossible, because they are just not grown up. But once they grow up, age 15, 16, they do not need any explanations. They'll just know it. It's inherently they know it. This need of connection to this internet of God and reaching to Him and His manifestation today, Baha'ullah, is that sort of a maturity. If you get there, when you're mature, no one in the world can stop you the connections. You'll get it. Baha'u'llah says, if it is needed, I shall make the sand of the desert to guide you. Nothing can stop you. He will guide you through. So, this is that stage connection. I shall be speaking more about this, some of the sign of it. In the video number 65 and 66, I remember, I spoke about the mysticism and Sufism and so-called the 7 valleys of love. These are the processes and the stages that the Muslims, the only religion of the world that I know of, have ever spoken of it so vividly. And I explained that their 7 values of love are so important for them that almost among the Iranian particularly has created a sect that we call them Sufis. Although there is a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of gray area in it, but yet it seems history tells us there are many people that have attained to reach to these 7 processes, and they call it, the first one, I call it instinctive desire, 20th century. Today they call it the seeking power, the power to search and seek. Out of seeking and searching you fall in love, and out of love you get to an understanding, and you understand the oneness in the universe, out of which you feel this richness and wealth because you're connected to the wholesomeness of the universe. But nevertheless you go through another 6th valley of the bewilderment, and you're up and down, and you do not exactly have reached to that final stage. And the last one, they call it fana. Fana really means perish, death, selflessness, to be correct. Some people, they say absolute nothingness. I don't think that's a proper translation. The best one for this, it would be selflessness. But according to them, yourself kind of dies out. That's what perish means. They mean this. And God will come in place of you and speak. So if you say, I am God, it is not you that you're saying you're God. God is saying He is God using your tongue. And which we'll get into it a little bit more. And I remember on the video number 5, which was the evolution of ideas, I did explain how this evolution starts, from the questioning and the answers that creates mythology, and how Hebrew mythology won over all of the other mythologies because of its spiritual and ethical values, which evolved into a religion, and a Moses came out of it, and where the laws come in, and it took 1500 years to give fruit, which was the edible part of this Judaism, which is Christ and Christianity. And actually, Christianity and Christ took Judaism and made it universal, in Europe that is. And once this Christianity came in contact with the Greek philosophy, it acted upon it like a virus and just kind of killed Christianity, and we call it Dark Ages. Because there wasn't enough people to explain what this word of Christ means. But God had a backup plan, as Abraham took one of his sons, Ishmael, as Bible says, all the way to Arabia. But after 600-700 years, a new backup plan of God, which is called Islam, and Muhammad comes out of it, which is the brother of Jesus Christ, because Christ is from Isaac and Muhammad is from Ishmael, and they were the 2 sons of Abraham. Muhammad brought Christianity, Islam, which in very many ways, very much like Moses,